We fought with swords. When in Gotland I slew an enormous serpent. My reward was the beauteous Thora. Thence I was deemed a man. They called me Lothbrok from that slaughter. I thrust the monster through with my spear, with the steel productive of splendid rewards. We fought with swords. I was very young, when towards the east in the straits of Arar we gained rivers of blood for the ravenous wolf, ample food for the yellow-footed fowl. There the hard iron sung upon the lofty helmets. The whole ocean was one wound, the raven waded in the blood of the slain. We fought with swords, we lifted high our lances when I had numbered 20 years. And everywhere acquired great renown. We conquered 8 barons at the mouth of the Danube. We procured ample entertainment for the eagle in that slaughter. Bloody sweat fell in the ocean of the wounds. A host of men there lost their lives. We fought with swords. We enjoyed the fight when we sent the inhabitants of Helsing to the Hall of Odin. We failed up the Vistula, then the sword acquired spoils. The whole ocean was one wound, the earth grew red with reeking gore. The sword grinned at the coats of mail. The sword cleft the shields asunder. We fought with swords. I well remember that no one fled that day. In the battle before, in the ships her order fell. There does not a fairer warrior divide the ocean with his vessels. This prince ever brought to the battle a gallant heart. We fought with swords, the army cast away their shields. Then flew the spears to the breasts of the warriors. The sword in the fight cut the very rocks. The shield was all besmeared with blood before King Ragnar fell, our foe. The warm sweat ran down the heads on the coats of mail. We fought with swords before the Isle of Indir. We gave ample prey for the ravens to rend in pieces. A banquet for the wild beasts that feed on flesh. At that time all were valiant. It were difficult to single out anyone. At the rising of the sun, I saw the lances pierce, the bows darted the arrows from them. We fought with swords, loud was the din of arms before King Eystein fell in the field. Thence, enriched with golden spoils, we marched to fight in the land of Vice. There the sword cut the paintings of the shields. In the meeting of helmets the blood ran from the wounds. It ran down from the cloven skulls of men. We fought with swords before Boringholmi. We held bloody shields, we stained our spears. Showers of arrows broke the shields in pieces. The bow sent forth the glittering steel. Volnir fell in the conflict, than whom there was not a greater king. Wide on the shores lay the scattered dead, the wolves rejoiced over their prey. We fought with swords in the Flemings' land, the battle widely raged before King Freyr fell therein. The blue steel, all reeking with blood, fell at length upon the golden mail. Many a virgin bewailed the laughter of that morning. The beasts of prey had ample spoil. We fought with swords before England's. There saw I thousands lie dead in the ships. We failed to the battle for 6 days before the army fell. There we celebrated a mass of weapons. At rising of the sun, Weldfur fell before our swords. We fought with swords at Bardafyrda. A mower of blood rained from our weapons. Headlong fell the pallid corpse a prey for the hawks. The bow gave a twanging sound. The blade sharply bit the coats of mail. It bit the helmet in the fight. The arrow, sharp with poison and all, besprinkled with bloody sweat, ran to the wound. We fought with swords before the Bay of Hlading. We held aloft magic shields in the play of battle. Then might you see men who rent shields with their swords. The helmet were mattered in the murmur of the warriors. We fought with swords in the Northumbrian land. A furious storm descended on the shields. Many a lifeless body fell to the earth. It was about the time of the morning when the foe was compelled to flee in the battle. There the sword shapely bit the polished helmet. The pleasure of that day was like killing a young widow at the highest feat of the table. We fought with swords in the Isles of the South. There hairy toes proved victorious. There died many of our valiant warriors. In the mower of arms Ragwald fell. I lost my son, in the play of arms came the deadly spear. His lofty crest was dyed with gore. The birds of prey bewailed his fall. They loved him that prepared their banquets. We fought with swords in the Irish plains. The bodies of the warriors lay intermingled. The hawks rejoiced at the play of swords. The Irish king did not act the part of the eagle. Great was the conflict of sword and shield. King Marston was killed in the bay. He was given a prey to the hungry ravens. We fought with swords. The spear resounded. The banners shoneth upon the coat of mail. I saw many a warrior fall in the morning. Many a hero in the contention of arms. Here the sword reached betimes the heart of my son. It was Egil, deprived Ragnar of life. He was a youth who never knew what it was to fear. We fought with swords at Skoldunga. We kept our words, we carved out with our weapons a plenteous banquet for the wolves of the sea. The ships were all besmeared with crimson, as if for many days the maidens had brought and poured forth wine. All rent was the mail in their clash of arms. We fought with swords when Harold fell. I saw him struggling in the twilight of death. That young chief so proud of his flowing locks. He who spent his mornings among the young maidens. He who loved to converse with the handsome widows. We fought with swords. We fought 3 kings in the Isles of Lindis. Few had reason to rejoice that day. Many fell in the jaws of the wild beasts. The hawk and the wolf tore flesh of the dead. They departed glutted with their prey. The blood of the Irish fell plentiful into the ocean during the time of that slaughter. We fought with swords at the Isle of Unlug. The uplifted weapon bit the shields, the gilded lance grated on the mail. The traces of that fight will be seen for ages. Their kings marched up to the play of arms. The moors of the sea were stained with blood. The lances appeared like flying dragons. Fought with swords. Death is the happy portion of the brave, for he stands the foremost against the storm of weapons. He who flies from danger often bewails his miserable life. Yet how difficult is it to rouse up a coward to the play of arms. The dastard feels no heart in his bosom. We fought with swords. Young men should march up to the conflict of arms. Man should meet man and never give way. In this hath always consisted the nobility of the warrior. He who aspires to the love of his mistress ought to be dauntless in the clash of arms. We fought with swords. Now I find for certain that we are drawn along by fate. Who can evade the decrees of destiny? Could I have thought the conclusion of my life reserved for Ayla? When almost expiring, I shed torrents of blood. When I launched forth my ships into the deep, when in Scottish gulps I gained large spoils for the wolves. We fought with swords. It gladdens me to know that Baldur's father makes ready the benches for a banquet. Soon shall we be drinking ale from the curved horns. The champion who comes into Odin's dwelling does not lament his death. I shall not enter his hall with words of fear upon my lips. We fought with swords. Oh, that the sons of Oslog knew. Oh, that my children knew the suffering of their father. The numerous serpents filled with poison tear me to pieces. Soon would they be here. Soon would they wage a bitter war with their swords. I gave a mother to my children, from whom they inherit a valiant heart. We fought with swords. Now I touch on my last moments. I receive a deadly hurt from the viper. A serpent inhabits the hall of my heart. Soon maul my sons black their swords in the blood of Ayla. They wax red with fury, they burn with rage. Those gallant youths will not rest till they have avenged their father. We fought with swords. Battles 50-1 have been fought under my banners. From my early youth I learned to dye my sword in crimson. I never yet could find a king more valiant than myself. The gods now invite me to them. Death is not to be lamented. It is with joy I seize. The goddesses of destiny are come to fetch me. Odin hath sent them from Valhalla. I will be joyfully received in the highest seat. I will quaff full goblets among the gods. The hours of my life are past. I die laughing.